anything on the 5-minute time frame, maybe this one, because price reacted on this 5-minute supply, but this 5-minute supply will be weak because it's on a weak high point on the 4-hour time frame. So yeah, but price reversed from this 5-minute supply. And after the mitigation of this 5-minute supply, we can expect a confirmation entry on this zone, but I believe that this zone will be swept. It will create more liquidity, and after the liquidity sweep into the extreme, we can wait for a real confirmation entry to the upside. Or once again, the third scenario for us now is the new breakout structure to the upside and wait for a confirmation entry on the newly formed 5/15-minute demand. That's all. Easy to follow plans, and let's play price forward and let's see what happens. And let me make these zones smaller a bit. And after that, we can play price forward. So yeah, let's see what happens. Okay, price building up more liquidity for the demand. As you can see, there is liquidity for the last recent 5/15-minute demand. But as I said before, I believe it will be part of the liquidity. I believe we do not have a new breakout structure to the upside. Let's see. No, it's not a breakout structure, not even on the 5-minute and not even on the 15-minute time frame. And it's not a breakout structure on the 1-minute time frame. So we have more liquidity built up for the possible longs. And price technically reacted on this extreme zone, but as I said before, I wouldn't look for short opportunities at all because the 4-hour, 50-minute, and technically the 5-minute are bullish. So yeah, there is liquidity creation for the last recent 5/15-minute demand, but price is struggling, building up liquidity on the upside for the possible long opportunities. Right here, this is just liquidity for the longs. And price building up liquidity for the 5/15-minute demand. And if you take a look on the 15-minute time frame, technically price has just reacted on this 15-minute demand, as you can see. So there is the reaction on the whole 15-minute candle. And to be honest, I would rather keep the 15-minute zones in this case. And also, I would rather keep the 15-minute zones as they are, and I don't really refine them nowadays, but I mark valuable 5-minute demand zones too. So yeah, let's see what happens. Price swept some liquidity from this region, didn't mitigate the 50% of this zone, but I still believe this zone will be swept into the next 15-minute demand. But let's see what happens. This is not a reaction that I'm looking for in this scenario in order to execute a trade, even though the technical change of character has happened here. This is not a volume movement that I'm looking for. So let's see what happens. A deeper mitigation happened. And if you take a look here, price has just built up perfect double bottoms for the demand below. So this can function it as liquidity for the demand below. But if we take a look here, price also made a change of character to the upside. And technically the change of character came into the market from this demand, which is also an inside bar. But the only problem for me on this zone, it's directly part of this double bottom, and it can be swept easily into the next 15-minute demand. And after the next 15-minute demand mitigation, we can look for the real movement to the upside. So yeah, let's see what happens. I won't open a limit order here. I won't open a position here. Let's see. As you can see, it has been swept out. And price just mitigated, not yet. it didn't mitigate the lower demand, but the 5-minute candle has broken below. So this 5-minute supply might cause the mitigation on this 15-minute demand. And after this 15-minute demand mitigation, I would look for a long. Once again, as I said before, many times. So let's see. 15-minute demand mitigation happened, but currently the reaction has not happened that I'm looking for. 50% mitigation happened, and the reaction is missing right now, but we have a body break on the 1-minute time frame. But with this candle, the 5 and 15-minute candle closed also, and this is only a 1-minute body break. And if we take a look here, here is how the 5-minute candle closed. So 5-minute candle has closed inside of the zone, swapped some liquidity from this region. Technically, price built up liquidity. There was some sort of liquidity that has been swapped, and 5-minute candle has just closed inside. And if you take a look here, the 15-minute candle has just closed inside of the zone. So if price can make a change of character to the upside, which actually happened already, because this was our last recent break of structure to the downside from this zone, and 1-minute candle has already closed above, technically the change of character happened with a really nice reaction, with a nice V-shaped recovery. And price left behind an entry opportunity, possible entry zone here that has caused the change of character. But let me see that if price can manage to make another change of character, for example, can break above this high point. Actually, it's not, but it made liquidity for the entry zone. And if we take a look here, as I said before, here was the last recent break of structure to the downside from this supply zone. This supply zone has already broken with this candle with body closure. And technically the change of character happened with V-shape recovery. We can say that it's a V-shape, and the inefficiency came into the market from this wick because the wick is lower than the previous candle. So the inefficiency came into the market from this wick. Price built up liquidity just above the zone, so it might be a nice entry opportunity for us. And let's count the criterias for this zone. First one is the higher time frame zone mitigation. Price has mitigated a 15-minute demand here that has caused the breakout structure before, and here is the second criteria, which is the liquidity take for the zone. There was really nice amount of liquidity take for the higher time frame zone, which has been swapped with this movement. And after the full zone mitigation and wick break on the 5-minute and 15-minute time frame, technically change of character happened to the upside. And the change of character happened from this zone, and price left behind inefficiency on this wick. So everything just above this wick is just inefficiency. Here is the inefficient gap. And we are in a pro trend. As I said before, the 4-hour, 15-minute, 5-minute is bullish. So we can safely look for long opportunities on these demand mitigations. So we have all the 4 base criteria for this zone. And let's count the variable ones. We have change of character. Technically, this is a change of character to the upside. And after the wick break on the 5 and 15-minute, technically this is a V-shaped recovery also. So we have a V-shaped recovery with more than 50% mitigation, price wick below on the 5 and 15-minute, and it's just a 1-minute break. So we are good. We have really nice amount of liquidity target on the upside. Technically, the whole upside is just liquidity for the longs. So this is our 7th criteria. Wait a minute. Change of character V-shape 50% and liquidity target for the longs. Here is just liquidity. Price isn't coming from any opposite sided zone, but let me check the higher time frame. Technically, this is our last recent supply zone that has caused the break of structure here to the downside. So we can consider that if price mitigates the zone, that it will come from an opposite sided zone. So yeah, price is coming, but currently price is not coming from any opposite sided zone. So we have 9 criterias. Also, we have corrective pullbacks from pro movements, and let me show you why. If I take a look on the 5-minute time frame, the bullish movements are stronger than the bearish ones. The bullish movements are inefficient. The bearish movements are slow liquidity building movement. Strong inefficient movement, liquidity building movement on the bearish side. Stronger movement and corrective pullback. But on the 50-minute, you will see it much clearer. So the bullish movements are stronger than the bearish ones, and the bearish movements are on it slow liquidity building movement. So yeah, we have corrective pullback, strong pro movements, and currently we have combined liquidation for the entry PY. So we can safely put a limit order on this zone with 11 criterias, and let's see how this trade will go. So let's put a limit order here with 2, and actually we can use 2 pip stop loss because it safely covers the zone with a full zone entry, and we can target this high point for 15.7 risk reward ratio. It would have been perfect for me, and I wouldn't really hold the position up to this extreme, up to this 4-hour zone. So yeah, I would rather make a take profit level here to the highest point of the liquidity right here. So let's see how this trade will go. We have 11 criteria for it, and if price mitigates this zone, this 5-minute zone, I will keep my order here because it has liquidity, combined liquidity. So if price mitigates this zone, then I will keep my order on this entry POI. But session will close in 45 minutes. So session will close here, and let me mark it out with a vertical line. Okay, here is the session close, London end. And let's see how this trade opportunity will go. Okay, price mitigated, not yet, but it mitigated the 5-minute supply. That has caused a break of structure here. But but the only purpose of this zone might be the reversal to this extreme to our entry POI, and after the reversal to our entry POI, the real movement might came into the market, but we will see. We still have 10 criteria for this zone, and price just built up really nice amount of liquidity here, and also we have trendline liquidity here. So let's see how this trade will go. Price reacted on it strongly. Liquidity sweeping movement came into the market, but if we take a look here, price technically built up another touch for this trendline liquidity. So there is really nice amount of liquidity now that is currently on the way to be swept. And let's see what happens. We have 50 minutes more almost in this session. And let's see if we can be tagged in. Price is struggling above our entry POI. We haven't got tagged in yet, and we have technically 2 more minutes in this session. And let's see. And technically, with this candle, session has closed. So the next candle would be printed after our session close. So I would rather delete my limit here. And it would have been a no tag trade for me. And if we print our next candle, it still wouldn't tag me in. So it's a no tag trade for me. But out of curiosity, let's see how this trade will go. There would have been a tag. tag in, but it couldn't manage to really made any impact on the market, and it would have swept me out in out of this trade. But let's see how this trade will go, how the price action will made. And yeah, actually the plan played out, because yeah, plan would have played out perfectly, but it would have swept me out of this trade. But as I showed you, session closed here, and price technically couldn't manage to tag me in London session during London kill zones, so it would have been a no tag trade for me. And technically that's all, guys. I hope you can grab some value from this backtesting video, and I want to wish all of you a nice rest of the weekend. We won't trade tomorrow because we have bank holiday in Europe, so we can't really expect that much of a volume on the market. So yeah, it would be pointless to sit in front of the computer, in front of the chart, and we will have a day off tomorrow. So yeah, that's all, guys. Have a nice rest of the weekend once again, and see you guys on Tuesday.